Dun, dun, dun. Welcome back to
the Chiss Ascendancy.
Hey, thank you guys for joining us. This is episode 28. Today we're talking about
that everyone talks about.
You know what they're talking about, the 28. We're talking about the huts.
Talking about the huts.
So before we jump into this, we just want to remind you to please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at the Chiss Ascendancy or Chiss Ascendancy Podcast. And we just want to make sure we get the word out there. So if you're enjoying this podcast, please share it. If you have an Instagram, share that thing to your story and spread the love. Cool?
Yeah.
So we're jumping in today. We're a little bit on a kind of
a niche conversation topic string.
Yeah. So last week, you said it was Tim.
Yeah, my buddy Tim
asked about Jawas. Did he ever get back to you about the episode?
I asked him. We were online last night, and I was like, "Hey Tim, did you get a chance to listen to that Jawas episode?" And he was like, "No, I think I liked it."
Wow.
Yeah, I know,
what
right?
A schmuck.
I told him, I said, Tim, I have a joke that's in there specifically for you, and he's like, "Will I get it?" And I say,
"It's for you, ding dong."
I said, I literally go, "Hey, do you hear that, Tim?" And then I make the joke, so I think you'll get it.
Wow. Well, did anybody request this one, or I can't remember how this came about.
By the way, Tim, I love you and I forgive you. But
well, I don't know you that well, and I don't forgive you until you make it right.
But no, we were just working at a youth camp, and we were sharing a bed, and I was about to go to sleep, or I had just woken up, and I was like, we should talk about the huts.
I remember that. Yeah, so we were we were out of town, and so we were staying at a friend of mine's house, and he had one small couch and one regular-sized bed. And so I was like, hey, I don't care. So we're brothers, man. We've been sharing beds for God knows how long. Oh, there's a really funny story I want to tell, but it's probably inappropriate for this company.
It is inappropriate. I know what story you want to tell, and let's not tell that story.
Let's not tell the story.
Okay. Anyways, I remember that now. Yeah. It was probably 2 a.m. We were watching Netflix. Both of us are falling in and out of consciousness. And he's like, let's talk about the huts next Friday. So it feels like it's been a while since we've recorded together because we recorded last week's episode
almost 2 weeks ago because we just did the last one
on the Tuesday before. Yeah. So today we're talking about the huts. So we're going to break everything down, talk about where they're from, different things like that, kind of give you some specifics. A lot of people only know Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
But there's more where that came from.
Yes.
And so we'll break that down, and then towards the end we'll kind of break into some Legends material because there's some neat stuff in there.
Tasty Legends.
It's kind of like when you're cleaning the couch and you're like, there's my M&Ms.
Do you eat those? Do you eat those M&Ms?
It depends.
You don't?
Sometimes
I'll see... it depends on where are they, you know? If they just fall on the couch and they're just in the sliver between the two seats and not back in like the butt crack of the couch where the ants live, yeah. I might eat those.
I don't know. I've seen your kid pull stuff out of the couch and he's like, and I'm like, no, like it's in slow motion. And your wife may see, she's like, it's all right.
It's good for his immune system.
Yeah. I guess so.
Dude, I think Mike and I could survive a nuclear
there you go.
wasteland bombing atom bomb.
Fun fact about me, I hate it when people say nuclear. I've had like really intelligent people say nuclear, and I was like, show me that second U. Show it to me.
Nuclear warfare.
Hooked
it's
on
small.
phonics.
Nuclear, like the nucleus. It's just like
and then
the tiniest bomb of all time.
Is his nucleus.
So,
underrated. Any news for the folks this week? I'm trying to remember. I'm coming up dry.
You always spring this on me, and it's never written out. Not that I can recall. Things are going great. A cool book came out this week. I haven't read it, so I won't be able to give it a review, but it's called... so a while back, there was a book called Star Wars Myths and Legends, and it was kind of like a mythology, like really old school Jedi, really old school Sith type of thing. And this one's called Dark Legends, I want to say. So maybe one's Myths and Fables.
Is this the one with the question mark lightsaber?
Yeah. So that one's finally out, so look it up at your local Barnes & Noble or your local Amazon.com. But yeah, it's a cheaper, it's like $15 versus like a usual hardback's like $25. But it's pretty cool. It's got some different stuff in there, past stuff, and yeah, I'm very looking forward to reading it and giving maybe a little short review.
Do you remember when Amazon was just for books? Like that's all they sold?
I do remember
that. I had to get a book for school, and Mom was like, let's go to this new site called Amazon.com. And I was like, it's a fad. Go to Barnes & Noble. Little did we know.
Yeah.
I'd soon be buying toilet
The printing
paper
press is for newbies.
And we're back.
Last time on the Legends of Korra. So today we're talking about the huts, and what's your thought on the huts? Eh?
I think I was thinking about it because we were listening to Mall Lockdown. That was the book I was listening to at the time, and it just seemed to me that the huts are kind of everywhere.
They are.
You know what I mean? Every portion of the galaxy, the huts have their little pie.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe at one point George Lucas kind of envisioned them as the mafia.
Definitely.
I think it was kind of subtle because he didn't even have close to an Italian accent. But then in Clone Wars, you see the coalition of the huts, and one of them like literally has like slick back
and a pencil
black hair
mustache
and a pencil mustache. I was like, we weren't even
later in the
here.
episode, I have the listed of the leader of the coalitions of the huts.
He's like, got the pizzeria.
I eat the whole thing. It's a good idea, and I stand by.
Fettuccine, the hut.
Hey, you remember Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs?
Yeah, I do think about that a lot.
And it's like,
and he died because he got locked in his limo and he ate himself. He's a pizza. He eats pizza.
Dude, I will say though, if you go back and watch Spaceballs, that pizza looks
that was a cheesy pizza.
Amazing.
That's what every pizza on every commercial looks like, but they've got like Elmer's glue in there, and the rest of the pizza is like nailed to the.
So do you know why pizzas are like that on commercials?
Yeah, because they have Elmer's glue.
No, they don't use sauce on their pizzas on the commercials.
Just cheese?
They just do the cheese, and then the toppings.
I've seen them like behind the scenes stuff where people who do those commercials like show you everything, and they'll put glue in there so it pulls apart and everything. Wow. It's a low blow.
Hey,
and then you get your pizza delivered to you, and it's like folded on top of itself in half, and the corners like this, like just twitching. It looks like that cricket I hit on the road. You know, just like barely clinging to life.
What's they put something? I think they put dish soap at the very bottom of like a beer mug, and that way it real foams over all nice.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I used to as like
a lie.
As a kind of a side gig during my Bible school days, I used to work as a food vendor at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and boy, do those rodeo folks get ticked when there's any foam at all. They're like, that's less beer, pour it out. I've really had people tell me to pour out their entire beer so that I could give them no foam.
I remember that we were watching...
But every beer commercial ever is like, look at all this foam.
I think we were watching Django, and Christoph Waltz's character is pouring himself a beer after he instigates something with the bartender so that he goes to get to the sheriff that he wants to kill. Mm-hmm. And he has, the little thing where he scoops the
Stella Artois thing.
Yeah, and you're like, man, what I would have given to have one of those.
Yeah, well, that's the perfect thing because if people don't see it foam over, they don't really care. But for whatever reason, as soon as it gets to the top, they're like, too much. But the key is you tilt the glass.
Right. Yeah,
but nobody told me that.
He's German, so he knows how to pour a beer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's
a lager.
Yeah.
And when he does it, it's cooler.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the cool thing. So the huts, Hutts, not to be confused with huts like pizza, they're from the planet Nalhutta.
Nalhutta. And that place is, it is what you would expect to be the home planet of a giant slug species.
Yeah. It's basically a sauna.
It's gross.
It's a trash sauna.
It's I'm not going to say what I was going to say. But it's a big swamp. It's a big old swamp.
The thing that really shocks me is that for a species that's very slug-like, Tatooine seems like the worst place in the world. Like, the heat isn't a big deal, but the dry heat, you feel like the humidity would be necessary.
Yeah, that's why it's swampy.
Yeah, I'm saying it's funny to me that...
Oh, that he would go to Tatooine?
He sets up shop on Tatooine.
And actually, it's addressed in Plagueis, that idea. And Plagueis was obviously making shady deals with the powerful people in the galaxy behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. And Gardula was looking to take over Mos Eisley. And so I guess that's how they pinned in that you saw Gardula and Jabba in the Phantom Menace at the
Mos Espa pod race.
Yeah.
And the Boonta Eve Classic.
Yeah, she was looking to take that over, because it was going to be the biggest pod racing event in the galaxy, which I guess as far as space gambling goes is a big deal. And the immune Plagueis was talking about how the twin suns would tend to dry him out, and she's like, good thing that longevity is natural to my species. And I was like, all right, Gardula.
Hey, what's weird is you would think that Tatooine being kind of a backwater and being kind of a shady back alley planet, you would think that no empire means way more lawlessness and way more business. Why do you think it is that in The Mandalorian in episode 5, when they go back to Tatooine, everything's so empty?
Oh, episode 5 of The Mandalorian. I was thinking you were saying...
Not Empire Strikes Back.
Mandalorian.
Sorry.
And episode 5.
No. The one where he has to go hunt down...
It is episode 5. Yeah, I just watched the series again. It's still so good.
It is really good.
What was your question?
Well, when they go into that bar, it's like desolate.
Yeah, I think...
And it's kind of like...
Well, because Jabba's dead. He was running everything, and so when he died, everything kind of dried up. Also, that Wookiee wasn't running the cantina anymore. So, droids.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like there was a... Yeah, I would think that you would want to take over whatever Jabba left behind. But I guess most of his crew blew up on the katana with him.
And then we have... we talked about him. Space Sheriff. They're
Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, Cobb Vanth. He's trying to institute order.
Freetown.
So it seems like...
Timothy Oliphant.
The good old boys are trying to...
Hold it down.
Yeah, hold it down on Tatooine after Jabba.
Song of the South.
Kind of like a opposite version of what Maul was trying to do around the Order 66 time. He's just trying to seize some of the control in the chaos, and they're trying to instill order in the chaos.
Interesting.
The power vacuum.
Interesting. It's a good idea. I stand by. So here's a pretty cool thing. I looked it up, and I found all the colors that Hutts can come in.
With all the colors of the wind.
Okay, so they range in color from black. So that would be kind of cool. A black Hutt would be dope. Blue, brown, gold, green, mottled brown, which, what does that mean? Mottled?
Brown but different. Keep going.
Brown and browning brown.
I don't know. You think of like blue and heather blue as different?
Yeah. Purple, tan.
Which is zero. Zero's kind of purple.
Yeah. Zero the Hutt is purple, and then you have tan, and then you have white, which is actually a genetic defect. And it talks about, if you look it up online, Wikipedia, so hopefully not just some rube wrote this on there, but it said that if they, as they grew, because of course they start real small, but as they keep growing as they get older, one of the adverse effects of growing or of like they have a very unhealthy lifestyle is that it would affect their skin. And they're just one big skin, basically. So they could lose their pigmentation.
The skin is the largest organ of the body.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good.
We're all just one big skin.
Well, they're just mostly a skin. I
feel like there's a lot of juice in there.
They could lose their pigmentation in their skin, and it said that their skin would crack and split open. And that's why I was saying it's interesting to me that Jabba would on purpose be on Tatooine.
Can you imagine how much eczema cream he'd have to invest in?
Yeah. It's like, think about how dry Arizona is. Now, do that times two.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Two
when
suns.
I went to go visit Flagstaff for spring break a few years back, it's like the first time in my life I had to buy hand lotion.
Really? You had to buy hand lotion?
Yeah, my hands were cracking open.
In half?
Yeah, all the way off. Fake hand.
And then yellow, which is kind of, I guess, between tan and yellow is what Jabba is, and that little green.
Can we just talk about for a second how old Zero's mom had to have been?
Yeah.
She's huge.
Yeah. She's in the notes.
She's huge.
Yeah, she's massive. She's like my 600-pound life.
She's wearing like those starfish bras.
Was she? I forgot.
I seem to remember her having starfish something on her.
Look it up.
And she throws one at Voss.
Shut
remember
up.
that?
No. Look it up. So here's what's one thing that's really cool is that they have 3 lungs.
Yeah.
Which
we hear that in Master and Apprentice.
Yeah.
There's that one hut that's basically like smoking, like meth, I guess, but it's spice. Mm-hmm. And he said, inhaled enough to fill up all 3 lungs.
Wow, what a hole.
Her name's just Mama.
Yeah, that's just her name.
Mama.
Mama? I can't remember how Zero's voice sounds. It's very...
Wow.
It's
Mama?
It's very, like, feminine, southern Georgia.
You see this?
Here, I'll come over.
Starfish, like... It's like those little fish that you see on the outside of a shark.
She's gross. Woo, that room must have smelled rough. So they have 3 lungs, and they thrive in sauna-like environments, is what it says. And
I believe that.
It's really strange because they live such unhealthy lives, but they have, like you said, they have such longevity. They have, basically, it's kind of like a jellyfish. It seems to me like they just kind of live forever.
Well, I was about to say like lobsters. Lobsters never die. Did you know that?
Wow.
They either get killed or they get so big that it expends too much energy to molt, and then they die of exhaustion. But they'll just continue to grow forever indefinitely.
What's the biggest lobster ever, you think?
It was like several hundred pounds.
Bruh,
it was a fat boy.
Sick. So yeah, it just says that they live for centuries and centuries, and I'm sure that their way of living and kind of their lifestyle of, like you said, mobbing around and gangsters and all that stuff, I'm sure shortens their life expectancy.
They're very no loose ends as well. If one hut happens to turn on the other huts, that's the end of that hut's life. Like Zero thought he was going to blackmail the, main hut.
The families?
Yeah, like the board of the huts.
And they hired your boy.
Actually, they hired Trumpet Mouth.
Well, that's true.
Baby.
Yeah. But they're trying to get Cad Bane to do it first, eh?
Kiss in Star Wars history. Ugh.
Was that Size Noodles? The girl that sings in...
No.
Not the same?
Different one.
But same species.
Same species.
So, Zero turns on the ruling families and they kind of hunt him down. And so, basically, if you look it up, as long as they've been around, they've been involved in crime. And, like, heavily involved and kind of running the market in their corner of space.
So, Jabba, we learn from Jedi, is impervious to Jedi mind tricks, which is indicative of a strong will. He's one of the more powerful huts, so it's kind of something that you would expect.
Right.
But it seems to be, something of their species.
But they're very determined.
Yeah.
And their mind is kind of the opposite of their physical appearance.
Right.
Like, they're very sharp. They're not slow. They're not sluggish. They're very... They have plans, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Jabba, he's
a tough cookie.
He's on top of it all, shall we say.
Poor whoever is underneath there. God bless.
Those poor Twi'lek women.
Oh, God. Oh.
It's either that or the Rancor, man. What are you going to...
I
guess I'll take the Rancor.
I'd rather get eaten than smushed.
That's where I'm at, but...
That's kind of like their lore. I mean, you could go super deep into all their different lore.
Can you imagine that Twi'lek as Lois under Peter when he was asking if he could eat a Pop-Tart in bed?
Lois, can I have a Pop-Tart in bed, please?
Slithers off of his palanquin.
Lois, are you downstairs?
And he's just slithering off of there, and then that Twi'lek's like...
Dude, yeah. Imagine there's got to be no AC in his palace. Because he needs the heat.
He's got to have the...
But he needs the heat. He needs the mugginess. He probably has anything...
He probably has those
humidifiers. Oh, my God. And Luke goes in there wearing black.
You know what?
Just get as hot as you can in the sun, and then go inside and just... Dude, the swamp...
He's a Jedi.
You know what's in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I think the word you're looking for is must.
Oh, my God. Ugh.
Can you imagine somebody like Lando having to go undercover and be in there for several weeks? Oh, he hated his life.
It probably smells like rotten Brussels sprouts.
Ugh.
Between your thighs. Okay, so notable Hutts. So of course you have Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt. But those, Jabba's been around since the original Star Wars, and in name only when Star Wars was first released, because you got to remember that scene where the Falcon's there and you hear Jabba going, Solo, Solo. That was an additional scene that they added in the 90s. And really, it was there to showcase Jabba, because that re-release came out before Phantom Menace, and Jabba was going to be in that. But it was also to showcase Boba Fett, because Boba Fett had become a fan favorite. And so it was cool to have him already there. So the scene's already there, obviously, because you have Harrison Ford from the 70s. But if you look it up, there's a human. There's this big, fat human guy that's kind of got a Scottish accent that's playing Jabba.
You're just kind of occupying the space.
Yeah. And he's walking around. Why you eat the fried pork grido like that? Why you do that, Solo? And it's funny because it kind of makes the joke funnier that Han says, Jabba, you're a wonderful human being. Because he's looking at a guy that's a human.
Yeah.
And they even had the presence of mind to put a little box behind that gentleman so he could step on his tail. And that's one of my favorite sounds in Star Wars is whenever Han steps on his tail and he goes, Wah! Also, I was surprised in that little scene that they added, I was shocked with how mobile Jabba was.
Yeah, you usually don't see him.
He pretty
much stays put.
He was slugging around pretty quick there. I mean, how does he get through the door?
Bigger doors. He owns the city, man.
I like your...
That's how he does it. It's like he's dragging, he's literally dragging his whole...
Dude.
Think about, like, if you ever walk through mud, you're just like...
Trudging?
Yeah, just freaking, like, that leg never comes off the ground.
That sound like when you're watching a movie and you hear...
Oh, God, Kylo.
And you're like, stop looking at yourself! Tell your dog.
Freaking Kylo has no shame.
I know.
Just licking that ween.
Dude, it's raw, bro.
It's the look that he gives me when I'm like, bro, seriously? And he'll go,
dude, for me. Oh my God, it's so gross. Dude, the other day I got home, and of course, he gets on the couch when we leave. We can't do anything about it. We started putting like some of the boys' toys and stuff on there, and he just knocks it over now.
Yeah,
and so
care.
I'm like, whatever, it's a lost cause. So I take all the pillows or blankets off of the couch so they don't get all stinky. Stinky. But he was on the brown couch, right? The real long one. Yeah, and then when I open up the front door, he gets nervous and he jumps from the brown couch to the white couch. And I was like, what are you doing? And so I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. So I had him jump back and forth a couple times. And Macy's like, well, you can't get mad at him now. You're teaching him to do it. That's not really what my wife sounds like, but anyways.
I think it's pretty much what she sounds like. Just kidding. We love you, Macy.
But yeah, I just think when you're walking in episode 4, when you're walking and the camera's kind of behind Luke and Han and Obi-Wan and all those guys as they're walking through those kind of tighter passageways to get into that hangar where the Falcon is. Long snoot.
Yeah.
That was a cool story too from
That was a cool story. I liked that.
I was like, dang, just get this long snoot back to his family.
Right? I actually liked him a little bit, and I was like, don't make me like this guy.
I know, because I've always hated his guts.
Scum.
Yeah. But...
Freaking snitch.
So think about that. If it's just a regular-sized door, how's Jabba getting through there? Do you think he has, like, a hovercraft that just takes him over the top?
No, I think there's just bigger doors elsewhere. He's Jabba. If he wants... You know what I mean?
He comes in through the garage.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you see the people in My 600-Pound Life get through that double-wide trailer door.
Dude, there was one episode of My 600-Pound Life recently where...
He's like...
They were...
my leg! He's like, you're fine. He's like, my leg! And he's like, we're not pulling your leg. He's like, pull your elbows in. He's like, I can't!
They were moving this person out of their house, and of course they haven't moved out of their house in
12 years.
God knows how long. And this person lived in a modular home, and so it was elevated, so it had a ramp.
Yeah.
To get down, and they had like 12 people from the local fire department come in and put in like Benjamin Franklin jacks, like making sure they had the extra support on the ramp. Oh my god,
that's crazy,
dude! Imagine being that firefighter, and you're like, "Sign me up! I'm gonna save lives. I'm saving lives." And then they're like, "All right, buddy, first day on duty. I need you to move this person with a pancake for a butt to."
You know what though? They never seem to mind. They always
they're on camera.
Yeah, but even in their facial expressions, they don't really. They've got good bedside manner.
They're probably in awe. They're probably like,
I don't know. They seem to be
in complete shock.
Are you telling me that like you have the opportunity to be a part of that team and you're going to turn it down?
No, I'm just saying. Imagine being a firefighter and you think you're going to rescue like people and animals from burning buildings, and you're rescuing someone from themselves in their mobile home.
Just imagine it's on fire.
It's condemned. Keep rolling. What if you start putting out the fire with the hose and she's like, "Hey, can I get some soda? There's so much water." They want a fire hose of Coke. Okay, so I'm sorry. Krispy Kreme's is fire retardant. Notable characters, obviously, of Jabba the Hutt. But to me, the most notable additions that are, they expanded that Hutt world to me personally as a Star Wars fan, and you can be kind of more of a surface level fan and get these characters, is the ruling family, the ruling council from Clone Wars.
I thought that was a cool concept, because up till then, each of the Hutts seemed to be autonomous. They did their own thing.
They were lone free rangers.
Right.
To quote Chicken Run. But they were also, they were
iffy about interacting with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they would
So I like the
their
idea.
best to not step on each other's toes, but they also had like vendettas.
Step on each other's toes.
Yeah, because they don't have feet or toes.
What if they did? They're just
little teensy weensy feet right at the base of the paunch, I guess is the right term.
Ooh. That would be really funny. Two little slippers.
Like Earl from Dinosaurs. He has like little bitty feet.
Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah,
you got it.
Hey, you know what I thought was always a really smart invention for Dinosaurs? The show that you're talking about?
The armrests?
That his recliner is just two stationary
It's just two armrests. It's not
he just gets there and just goes.
Yeah, that is
brilliant. So the Hutt ruling council was actually founded. I thought it was kind of like a, hey, Zero's mucking it up, let's join together. But this thing had been established 15,000 years before the Battle of Yavin.
That's pretty cool.
And so, you know,
maybe the longest standing.
Yeah, like older than like the Republic.
Yeah. The longest standing council to date.
But in the Clone Wars, you have basically there's
Rigatoni the Hutt.
There's five major
Chef Boyardee.
They call it the five ruling families.
A spicy meatball.
Okay. So you have Jabba the Hutt, and he's like the leader, and then the co-leader is Marlowe, and he's the Jackie Gleason character that you were referring to earlier. And as you can see in my notes, I love to put pictures for us to look at. We can put them in the video as well, I guess. But
are the names above the pictures or underneath?
Yeah, they're above. Right. So Marlowe is kind of the mob boss, the Italian spicy meatball guy, and then you have Arok, who is that cool. He's like a blue and yellow. He's the one that I remember the least.
He's just like a poison dart frog.
Yeah, he does. He's the one that I remember the least. He's the one that I was like, oh, I don't remember that guy. And then you have a character named Gorga. And I remember him because he has like that truck driver headpiece on.
With the monocle. It's very all-inclusive. It's the Swiss Army knife of headgear.
Yeah, it's like white trash, modular cell phone speaker with upper Englishman monocle. It's all in solid gold, though.
The only thing it's missing is the built-in top hat.
There's a guy that... I've seen a picture of a Hutt with a top hat on, just like a fan fiction thing. There's a guy that he has kids in the daycare at the church I work at, and
I'm interested to see where this is going.
He's a truck driver for a living, and so he has like this big headset with a with a mouthpiece coming down.
What's that for?
It's just for talking on the phone comfortably without having to hold your phone up.
Legally, they're not allowed to be on the phone while they're driving, so they use Bluetooth headsets.
Right. So it's funny because he'll just drive.
It seems like overkill to me.
He'll drive.
I don't do it.
I think he's just so used to it that he just drives up to the parking lot, and I just see him get out, and he'll be like, "Yeah, you know what it is," and he's just like joking around. And the first time I saw that, I was like, "Is he gaming?" Like he's just still on his house's Wi-Fi.
Is he a mid-1990s pop star and he needs his hands free?
Right, exactly. The Britney Spears of the huts is Gorga. And then lastly, you have Oruba, not to be confused with Aruba, the island. And he's kind of like a Roman Catholic looking guy.
The cardinal.
He has like a little Pope outfit on.
Monsignor Aruba.
And so he's got a little...
That's a position in the Catholic
Is
Church.
that hair or is that a hat?
You never can tell.
Yes.
Yeah, it's both.
You know how Gorga's got the mouthpiece I wear?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got the hair hat.
The hair hat, I like it. So then you have Zero the Hut. Zero the Hut's kind of the mama. He's got that high-pitched southern draw accent. He's kind of the guy that he's too greedy for his own good.
It could be anything.
You can't tell, huh? I know, I was looking at it for like an hour. But you can't tell if it's hair or if it's like a little...
or if it's just like...
What the freak are those French hats? Berets? It looks like a beret a little bit.
It's really hard to tell.
And I can't tell because he has that other little outfit. The rest of his outfit makes me think it's a beret.
Yeah, I think it's a hat because it matches his cape too well.
Exactly. So then you have Zero the Hut.
He has lost some sleep over stuff. He's got some bloodshot eyes.
Dude, it's not just bloodshot eyes, it's bloodshot bags under his eyes. Like, he looks like he's been crying. Yeah, he's probably been smoking some spice.
He's got some stretch marks for sure.
He really does. Yeah, he needs to go to a doctor for his varicose veins. Gross. He kind of looks like someone I know, but I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to even hurt anybody's feelings, but I'll say it after the podcast is done recording.
Oh, my God.
He looks... And then you have Zero the Hut, who actually, in the grand scheme of things, is kind of the...
You can tell he's a young pup because he's not that big.
Yeah, he's kind of smaller, I was going to say. But then, on the other side of the scale, you have Zero's mama. Literally goes by mama.
Like.
Like, if you look up Zero the Hut's mom...
She has to be the longest living hut at that point in time.
Yeah, how old do you think she is?
She's ancient. She's old. Mama the Hut.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'll look it up. All right. Wikipedia.
Mama the Hut.
So she's part of the Disiligit clan.
Which is the same as Jabba.
Which is Jabba's.
So this is weird because she is...
It says Mama was an elder obese female hut. Aren't they all?
Yeah, but she's like over the top big.
She a big girl.
And she's Zero's mom, but she's Jabba's grandmother.
How does that work? Maybe Zero's, I guess that would be Ebor, would be Jabba's
dad or mom.
Elder.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just significantly older than Zero.
Yeah, because they lived for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So he could technically be like...
Jabba could be his nephew and still be older.
Yeah. That's some southern things right there.
Do you remember when I sent you that gift that it's like, you're both your niece and your aunt? And I actually went and drew out diagrams for myself to kind of plot that out. And the only one that was completely by birth is that if your sibling had a kid with your grandparent. And that's how it would be both your niece and your aunt. So
that's disgusting.
Welcome to the things you never needed to know.
Now, there is a character named Gracchus the Hutt, which is a very cool character.
It says she was born sometime before 1021 BBY.
So she's 1,000 years old.
Yeah, she's 1,000 plus. They don't have a source on that, but that's all I can find.
So
she became the wife of Papa.
Papa? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes sense if that's all you know. So Gracchus the Hutt is he's the only known muscular Hutt, and he is canon because he's in the new Star Wars comics, and he it's weird. He's still a Hutt, but he's got like biceps and stuff. I'll save you.
Hold up.
I'll show you a picture.
It says Eeyore was Jabba's uncle.
Oh, so I guess like...
Is Zero Jabba's dad?
No way. Do some sleuthing. So Gracchus is... Dude, he's like jacked. He's got a six-pack. He's like really muscular for a Hutt. But the cool thing is he was in shape enough that he and like his clan that he was in charge of were... they had cybernetic legs. So they kind of looked more like a caterpillar. And that's how he moved. But he's big, dude. And he was still alive during after A New Hope, and he has a run-in with Luke Skywalker. There's got to be maybe there's other siblings of theirs that isn't mentioned.
I want this.
What is it? It's a beanbag?
The Jabba the Hutt beanbag.
Dude, heck yeah.
Maybe it'll drool on your ear every once in a while.
Gross.
His tongue's probably the grossest thing about him. IMO.
Yeah. So in filming for Return of the Jedi, it took 12 puppeteers to run Jabba the Hutt's body.
Some serious girth.
So you had like 2 or 3 people in his tail, then you had 2 or 3 people in his gut, and then you had like the cybernetic type stuff running for the eyes and tongue and such.
Zero and Eeyore have a sibling.
Do either one of them is Jabba's mom or dad? Mm-mm. So here is that's kind of the main thing we know from canon, but in Legends, it's really cool because so Pablo Hidalgo said somewhere in the recent past that Hutts have 2 specific genders, male and female, because in Legends content, Hutts were hermaphrodites. They could kind of choose. And so it would say, like, if you were to look up in the past, it would say that Jabba was hermaphroditic with a male personality. Like, I think past a certain point, you probably can't switch back and forth, but, like, you would choose, I guess. But in Legends, they were hermaphrodites, and they were known to... there was at least one person from Legends named Beldorion who was a Force-sensitive Hutt.
That's a pretty cool concept.
And it's a pretty cool thing because he's not just Force-sensitive, he's like pretty strong in the Force, it turns out. So he was a Jedi Knight who was discovered...
That's the most surprising bit to me.
Yeah.
That he was a Jedi, because they seem like they would have a natural bent towards the dark side.
So check this out. So he's a Jedi Knight who was discovered and joined the Order 400 years before the Battle of Yavin. So he's about 400-something years old. And he survived the Purge because...
Do you think him and Yoda would have been good friends? They're like 2 of the only Jedis that lived that long.
Maybe. It would be interesting. I would have to find the Legends material that he's in and read it and see if
they make mention. I mean, you'd think they'd be kind of close. They lived together for 400 years.
Yeah, but at the peak of the Jedi, there was like 10,000 of them, so...
Yeah, but how many of them around for 400 years?
That's true. It'd be kind of like, as you get older, it's just like, you would just have to be closer and closer.
He would just be your only equal.
You know but here's the thing. When he was young, right after he became a knight, and I don't know how... I feel like they age... I don't know. It's all fake biology, but I imagine they age... just slightly slower than humans, if at all, and they just last a long time.
It seems like they just exist at their peak for a long time.
So it talks about him being sent to a planet called Namtorios, and when he was sent there, him and whoever his partner was, right after they became Jedi Knights. So I'm guessing like between 20 and 25 years old, if they do have that same aging process as humans, right? So imagine... 350 years before the Battle of Yavin, he gets sent to Namtorios, and their mission fails. And as a result of their mission failing, there's frustration between the two of them, and they both turn to the dark side.
Nice.
I didn't look it up, but I would be interested to know if Namtorios is kind of like a world that is heavier in the dark side, where you could be more swayed. So because he was on Nam Chirios, kind of hiding out, fell to the dark side. He survived the Purge because he was not an active Jedi at that time. He kind of just walked away from it. And so he was actually pretty strong in the Force, and his special ability was Force Storm. And so it's not like a wide-ranging, like citywide, like we live in Houston. So like if there's a storm covering the whole city, it's like a freaking storm. Hurricane. But in small areas, he could combine basically Force Whirlwind and Force Lightning and create storms to like ravage like a small town.
So that would have been similar to the storm that you see Bane conjure.
Right.
The Brotherhood of Darkness.
Exactly.
Destruction.
So like you could think of a smaller town like Mos Eisley on Tatooine. I bet you he could like cover that. And
here's a tip: if you need to cool something real quick,
here we go.
Wrap it in wet paper towel. Stick that bad boy in the freezer for like 15 minutes.
And you got a cold one.
Frosty.
Nice and tasty. But yeah, I think that concept is cool because inside canon material, you don't really see the Jedi or the Sith actually swaying the weather outside of Yoda doing the lightning, which is the first Jedi we see do lightning.
Oh, yeah.
I guess Rey, but...
yeah, it's different. It's not coming from his hand,
I know, but...
He does have a connection, though, to it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Think about that.
I'm trying to think. Is there other Jedis that...
I mean, I guess Dooku does, but he was kind of dark-sidey.
Yeah. So basically...
But when he was training...
Yeah.
When he was training Qui-Gon, he used Force Lightning on an assassin.
Oh, yeah. That was a very dark side moment.
Actually, he used Force Lightning when he was a Padawan as well.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
Yeah. When he went with... he was on that dark side planet, and he accidentally used it on the Death Cult.
That's kind of ringing a bell a little bit. So this Hutt Beldorion, he doesn't get stuck, but he fails on his mission, falls to the dark side, and as him and his other partner that was sent with him falls to the dark side, and Beldorion kind of sees him as the weaker of the two of them, and he ends up killing him. And man, it's like, so he joins the Jedi Order 400 BBY, and it's like 19 ABY after the Battle of Yavin. So, 419 years later, I guess, something like that, or 400 years after he's stuck there. By that time, he's taken over the entire planet, which is very Hutt-like. You kind of said that seems like un-Hutt-like for it to be a Jedi. And so none other than Leia Organa Solo herself goes, cool. And they fight in a hand-to-hand lightsaber combat, and she ends up killing him. So in canon, it's cool because in the, I think it's the book Bloodline, I want to say, by Claudia Gray.
She is the one who wrote
that. She's known to weak ways? Anyways, she's known to many cultures around the galaxy as the Hutt Slayer.
Oh, that's cool.
And she doesn't really want...
that would be a rare title. There aren't very many.
Yeah. She doesn't really want that title because it kind of speaks of her as violent versus peaceful, which is kind of what she's going for. Mm-hmm. But to like the average person, it's like, no, you should own this title. Like you're a freedom fighter, basically.
It's almost like in the original Thrawn trilogy in Heir to the Empire, she was known as
Lady Vader.
Mm-hmm. To the Nogri. That was cool.
Yeah, and to her, she was like, no, I don't identify with that. And they're like, no, it's a good thing. And so she like, well, that's me, me, Lady Vader, doing
that
Lady Vader things. So she ends up defeating Beldorion in one-on-one combat. And he has a cool quote. He says, I may be older and slower, but I'm still powerful. I'm still Baldorion, or whatever what his name is. So, yeah, I need to look into that. I need to look into that content and see if there's something out there that's like a book or a comic or something, and I'll have more deets at a later date. So yeah, that's the only Hutt that we know of that was Force sensitive, but it seems like he was pretty strong in the Force. So I thought of a cool couple of questions to wrap up the episode. Okay, what is your favorite Hutt memory?
Do you have one already picked out? I don't either.
I have one that's funny. So whenever episode 1 was about to come out, they were re-releasing the original trilogy in theaters to get everybody hyped up. And when they did so, I remember it was really important to our dad for all of us to go see them. And there were no issues really through episodes 4 and 5. But then when 6 came out and we all went to the movies, Jabba the Hutt came on screen. And my mom looks over at us and she's like almost in tears. And she's like, I've got to go. I can't look at this. I can't watch this. And so
I think
that makes me laugh.
I cried as a baby.
Yeah, but that's different. You were like 4.
Yeah, but Mom was just like looking for an excuse to get out. And so she pulled me into like the hallway with her, I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, what's the big deal? It's just Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, I can't really imagine being in the headspace where I'd rather sit in a hallway and do nothing for like 2 hours than just watch a movie that you don't like that much.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So that's a really funny one. I do really like, there's a toy that came out in the 90s where, for whatever reason, you could like fill Jabba with slime and slime would just come out of his mouth.
Makes sense.
So that
sounds like a toy from like the early 2000s.
That was a cool thing. And then in the movies, I really love it whenever he rips that little... He's eating like a little frog or a chicken or something, and he spits the head, the gong, and that's how the race starts.
Yeah, I like that. Beldorion made his first appearance in Planet of Twilight.
Oh, okay. That's a book?
And that would have been Barbara Hambly.
I haven't read anything by her. Is that part of a series?
Yeah. Nope. Well, I don't know. I don't think so. It says the Callista trilogy.
Ugh. That does not sound good at all. It probably came out in the late 90s, early 2000s.
97.
Yeah. Well, I own it. God, I guess I'll read it. I want to hear about Baldora. Okay, so what's your favorite Hutt memory? Just anything off the top of your head.
I like...
oh, that was really loud in my ears.
I like that he wanted his money from Solo, and then once he actually had Solo, he didn't thaw him out to get his money back. He just left him on the wall as decoration. That's a baller move.
Yeah.
That's baller status
right there. It really goes to show you that
how little he actually cared about the money.
It was the principle.
Yeah.
Which is such a gangster thing.
It's the principle of the thing.
I think it's very interesting. There's this middle right here where the Hutts are forced to join the Shadow Collective with Maul and Savage. And then when that falls apart a little bit, I don't know, does the Shadow Collective fall apart?
No, the Hutts kind of get out of that because they have their, I guess the Hutts that...
They work with Dooku.
The Hutts that aren't there are just like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he ever gets a job under his thumb or anything like that. I think Savage kills one.
Yes. I can't remember which one.
But I remember they had their mercs. They had Embo and, the
Dengar and them.
Yeah.
Imagine having to, if you had a regular knife and there was someone that was like 700 or 800 pounds and you cut them with it, I feel like it would hurt them, but I feel like it would do less damage than if I cut you because there's less to get through. Imagine if you have a lightsaber. I can't imagine the same just little would kill somebody. You'd have to...
I mean, there would still be nothing holding his insides in.
You just have to really...
Kind of like the...
like slicing a ham?
Yeah, you'd have to just like...
I know, I just kind of think about the Tauntaun.
Yeah.
Han does that little slice and everything's like... I'm here now.
Yeah, but... That's like cutting open a horse versus cutting open like a rhinoceros. Like, I think that their skin is very tough. Anyways, that's just a funny thing to me.
I don't know.
Zorba, or not Zorba, but... what's his face?
Beldorion?
Yeah, Beldorion is looking kind of buff in this picture as well.
He's looking swole.
He's swole.
He looks like Zarbon's final form, if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan.
Yeah, he does. Okay, so are the Hutts the grossest species in Star Wars? I'm talking sentient beings.
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of, like, grosser species. Because there are some species that are, like, secretly sentient. Like, the thing from, what's his name?
Oh, Dianoga.
Yeah. He was aware more so than anybody thought. You know what I mean? Like, he had an awareness of his surroundings from a certain point of view.
Or was that a girl?
I don't remember.
I think it was a girl. Yeah, she's pretty gross.
I think the Hutts are, like, more, like, surface level gross. because they smell and they're slimy and they got
That long
that
snout
tongue.
girl from...
Oh, yeah, she's gross.
She grossed me out every time I watch it.
Yeah, when they get the close-up and it's like...
Yeah, but the dance, the real wide...
Yeah, it's weird. Dude, what is up with the desk today?
I don't know.
Our legs are more spread out than usual.
Whoops. Dang. Grosser species. Not off the top of my head, I'm coming up dry.
Yeah, they're pretty gross. Okay, and that leads me into the final question, okay? Name 3 species. If you had to choose to be a species in Star Wars, name 3 species that you would rather be a Hutt than this species. And this can be, I guess this could be non-sentient as well.
What's the little beak guy? Rather be a Hutt than him.
Who?
The annoying one around Jabba's palace.
Oh, Kowakian monkey lizard?
Yeah, F that.
But there's a show on Disney Plus called Star Wars Resistance, and if you look it up, there's a Kowakian ape lizard. So obviously the monkey's the little annoying one, and there's this giant one that's... You remember the mean dog from Lady and the Tramp 2 Scamp's Adventure? That's like... That really scary one? No?
Not really.
All right, well, there's a Kowakian ape lizard, and this thing's like...
The only thing I remember from that movie is how Scam goes, slick move.
I remember how hot the girl dog was.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
And I just made fun of that slick move line that we're going to try and focus on.
But, yeah, the Kowakian ape lizard is... It's more like...
I would still rather be a Hutt.
Okay.
Yeah, because...
It's pretty cool, though, that it's big. Okay, so...
I feel like there are a lot of perks that come with being a Hutt.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Kowakian monkey lizard, that's one.
We'll stagger it.
Okay, you want me to go?
Yeah.
I think I would rather be a Hutt than a... let's see. Dang.
I think I'd rather be a Hutt than a Weequay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of dumb and like... And they're always getting used. Like, there's never a boss that's a Weequay. I guess Hondo's...
Hondo, but he's 1 in a million.
He's 1 in a million. Okay. I would rather be a Hutt than a...
I've picked my third.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll just go 3 for 3. Quarren. Okay. I'd rather be a Hutt than a Quarren.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I just don't like him.
I just feel like you can have a normal life. I mean, I guess you can if you're a Hutt as well.
Yeah, you can have a normal life as the extra for Davy Jones in Dagon Pirates of the Caribbean.
If you're a Quarren?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, I would rather be a Hutt than a Dianoga. You mentioned that already. But I don't like I just would hate to be on that freaking... I mean, I guess it explodes eventually. But imagine just being in that trash compactor.
She seemed to have her own secret room she came out of and went into.
Yeah, but it just...
I don't know how that works.
It sucks. I would rather be a Hutt than...
But you could be that species. It doesn't mean you have to live in the trash compactor on the Death Star.
Yeah, but it just still seems like a terrible existence.
I don't know. They seem to be chilling in the swamps where she was captured.
I would rather be a Hutt than... Oh, man. I'm trying to think of all the...
You know what? I'm thinking about it.
it.
If you're born a Hutt, you got a pretty sweet life. You know what I mean? You wouldn't know anything different.
I'd rather be a Hutt than a Geonosian.
Oh, yeah. Screw those guys. Hive mind also, no autonomy.
Yeah, sucks.
Forget that.
And you get gassed by the Empire. And I'd rather be a Hutt than a Tusken Raider.
You'd rather, interesting.
Because here's the thing.
I feel like a Tusken would have such a simple, carefree life.
They seem stressed to the max at all times.
I mean, you're living on Tatooine. They're doing what they got with what they got.
Yeah, I know, but like any story you read, like Legends or canon,
they don't have a lot of responsibilities, man.
Yeah, you're taking your mind into, hey man, I'm just doing my thing. But every time you read a story about Tuskens, they're like, those frickin' water farmers stealing our frickin' water. Like, they just seem like they're so upset at all times. And that's my beef.
Learn distractions and consequences.
What is that from?
That rant from like the video where the kid's ranting about Sonic.
Oh.
And he's like, oh, idiots, the frickin' fricks. He's literally ranting about Sonic video games for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what are his parents doing? They just let him yell for...
Like, I feel as a Jawa, you scavenge the desert, but they love the desert. You're making money. You have a relationship.
Yeah, but the Tuscans view the desert as their ancestral home.
Yeah, I know, but it's different. Like, the Jawas just see it as a great opportunity. They're not like, that's our sand, don't touch it. But it's just, the Tuscans seem so stressed at all times. I'd rather be a Hutt.
I don't know.
And you get to indulge all your vices. You're pretty much rich.
You can do that as
rich.
As a Tuscan.
Not really. You can't even look at a girl's face.
Yeah, but you can just shoot some dude for no reason. Can you imagine?
Wow, so we know what my vices are. Looking at pretty women. Samuel's murder.
Go big or go home, you know? Anybody can look at a woman.
I just feel like, as a Hutt, you could kill somebody for no reason. You could do whatever you want. You're a billionaire.
Yeah, but everybody's like, oh my god.
For whatever reason, everybody loves you and
Here's
you make
the thing.
Money.
You're a Hutt and you kill somebody, everybody's like, oh my god, you see John just killed that guy. If you're a Tuscan Raider, they're like,
Tuscans.
Freaking Tuscans, man.
Would you rather
what are you gonna do?
Would you rather be a Hutt or a Gungan?
Hutt for sure. Hutt for sure. For sure.
Okay. Would you rather be a Hutt or a Tauntaun?
Tauntaun.
Really?
Yeah, they're just chilling.
I feel like they're just.
You wouldn't know any better, bro. You're freaking.
That's why I was trying
to. Dog, basically.
That's
you
why
know
I was
what
trying
a
to
good
keep
life
it.
Most dogs.
I was trying to keep it more sentient because you can just say.
Yeah, you wouldn't freaking know.
Tauntauns don't know any better. Okay, would you rather be a Hutt or a Chadra fan?
Yeah, I'm really sticking with the fact that Hutts kind of got a sweet hookup.
They have a sweet hookup.
They kind of have a sweet hookup.
They're gross, but when you're rich, you're not as gross. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine your Jabba the Hutt. You are definitely...
I think Jabba loves his life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, Jabba the Hutt...
Jabba's not like, man, wish I was born a human.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah, he'd never thought that in his life.
Jabba the Hutt definitely
He's also
enjoys...
the Grand Hutt, so of all the Hutts, he's the Huttiest.
Yeah, he enjoys his life way more than imagine being a little bat guy, and everywhere you go, you have to ask someone to hand you your drink down here like this.
But in Maul Lockdown...
The Chadra fan's
Coil,
pretty ballin'.
That Chadra fan Coil, he's supposed to be super strong, so...
That's what I miss about...
He just picked up a dude and carried him
that's
like
one
a
of the
sack of potatoes.
That's one of the things I miss about Star Wars Legends material, because now...
I tried to verify that canon. I couldn't find any sources to verify or to say that they're weak. They need some milk.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing there.
They need some milk. I feel like... And now I do enjoy the cohesiveness of everything. Yeah. Like, everything's got to make sense.
Have you noticed how gradually we both just started leaning back this way further and further as the episode goes on? I just noticed that.
We're turning into Hutts.
It's the gradual evolution. You tell a joke, next joke will go, and then the next joke I'll be like, and then the final joke of the episode, it'll be straight,
So I need to make 3 more jokes.
Yeah, I guess if
okay, would you rather...
Children's books rules.
Would you rather be a
When did this turn into a game of would you rather?
I don't know. Or you ask me one.
I don't know.
Hey, what species is Zam Wessel? Do you remember?
Changeling. They did. I don't think they give her a species name. They just called her a changeling.
I'm sure there is one.
I mean, I'm sure it exists. I don't know it off the top of my head. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, would you rather be a Hutt or the species that Max Rebo is? Do you know who Max Rebo is? The blue elephant guy that's like...
Oh, that guy's just chilling. And he's a stellar musician.
Ooh.
Would you rather be a Hutt or a Bith?
That's what I was going to say.
Nailed it.
Hutt.
Hutt or Mune? Dang, now you got 2 long-lived species, both very affluent species.
I would say the Munes have just as much cash if you're in the right family, but you're also more respected, and you're just more mobile.
Yeah.
You can't play disc golf as a Hutt.
Also, I'm thinking as a Mune, I thought it was funny that, and again, this is Legends material, but
you're more likely to be Force sensitive just by luck of the draw.
In Plagueis, they were talking about the kind of mindset of immune, and they were saying how they realized, later on, how resource-rich Munilist is. And so then they installed like a super big skyhook because when they started looking at other planets, man, these planets kind of suck. So they wanted to preserve their planet so that nobody can come see it. So it's just for them. And also they realized how much money they had. And then they were like, well, we don't really want to have more of us because then we have to share the wealth more. So they don't even breed that much specifically for the purpose of having more money for themselves. I think that's ballin'.
Yeah, I think between...
And they're not slugs.
They're not slugs. Yeah, between a Hutt and immune, I'd probably be immune.
Would you rather look like a slug or like Voldemort? I'm probably going to go Voldemort. I've still got legs.
Yeah, you've got probably as much money if you're in the right family.
And
you're respectable. It's clean money. I mean, it's probably dirty money, but everybody thinks it's clean money.
As he go Damask, has Hutts coming to him for favors.
Yeah. You're the godfather.
So, I think Munes have a pretty sweet hookup.
When you're a Hutt, you kind of are sleazy. You kind of are like, I don't want to deal with the Hutt. Everybody knows you're a gangster right off the bat. Yeah. When you're like you said, when
Plagueis was walking about on Naboo, everybody was like, oh my god, look at Mune.
Yeah. You're big, you-know-whatin'.
Yeah. Can we think of a more naturally influential and well-to-do species than Immune? Like, you're automatically born into a life of luxury as Immune. Like, 95%.
A species that's, as just a culture, just literally just richer? No, probably not. Humans kind of run everything.
It's a good day to be immune.
But you could be a slave or you could be super rich.
Right, that's what...
I think Munes, like you said...
Also, they live for a long time.
It's cream of the crop.
And they've got 3 hearts.
It's creme de la Edgar at all times.
Munes have 3 hearts. 2 of them are under voluntary control. Again, Legends material, but...
It's all the same.
There's not a lot of canon material on Munes.
I still believe
so I got to go with Legends.
Yeah, I'd say Munes are probably the...
That's a pretty ballin' species to be.
You get the best start at life.
Also, you get to be at secret meetings and say, the banking plan will sign your treaty.
I would love to
And then you get to go to the much less secret meeting and be like, we have no idea what you're talking about.
I would say, if there was a species I could choose and take war...
Would you rather be a Hutt or a Nemoidian?
Oh, Hutt, for sure. Nemoidians are sleazy. And they're always working for some... Yeah, but they're working for someone else. If I'm going to be a sleazeball, at least I can be the head ball.
I'm putting that on your headstone.
He was
Died head ball. And I'm doing what he loved, being head ball.
Oh my
god. That's kind of funny because on
Father,
our mom's
husband,
side...
brother, head ball.
on our mom's side... The last name is Ball.
Oh, yeah. Way to tell everybody.
Dude, what if...
Hey.
So does that make
fun fact for people who stuck around for the end of the episode.
Does that make our granddad Head Ball? He's the oldest one.
My mom, growing up... And this won't tell you anything because I never choose my mother's last name as any security questions. So, you're effed. But, her first name's Donna. She grew up with the last name Ray, spelled R-H-E-A. And she somehow made the mistake of telling us one time that she got made fun of in her driver's ed class when the instructor read out her name as Donna Rhea. And
that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
That's official payback, Donna, for never watching our podcast. So, send it on home.
If I could be one species and war doesn't count, I think the best life would be Wookiees.
Wookiees are chilling, bro.
Super chill.
Wookiees
cool
are chilling. You can climb a tree super easy.
Yeah,
you basically live in like
Hawaii.
Yeah. But also, if you've played Fallen Order,
the natural species on there kind of suck.
It's like Australia out there, bro. Everything wants to kill you. But I mean, you're a Wookiee, so
you're civilized.
Yeah.
All right, I don't think we can end on a higher note than that story. So we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends and family, and all your Star Wars bros or sister friends. And,
wow.
And also make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we will see you guys next week.
You know what? And remember...
You know what?
Even if your name is Donaria, the only family you have here is me.
See y'all next week.